The fight against corruption lies at the heart of our focus on improving governance. Consistent with the Afghan government's commitment made in Paris last year, we have taken important steps to fight corruption. In the past 1 year, many people, including senior government officials up to the cabinet rank, have been dismissed, prosecuted, or punished for corruption. The establishment of the High Office of Oversight and Anti-Corruption, including special units in the Office of the Attorney General and the Judiciary, will provide us with the necessary institutional framework to translate our commitment into further tangible actions. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, let there be no doubt that we will not spare any effort towards building an effective, accountable, and transparent government that the Afghan people can trust, and let there be no doubt about our commitment and resolve to fight corruption of any nature. We know it well that it is going to be a daunting and long-term challenge to tackle a menace which is the product of 30 years of destruction and institutions and impoverishment. Fighting corruption in such an environment will require a comprehensive approach with a focus on law enforcement, improving laws and regulations, streamlining procedures, increased accountability mechanisms, and public education. In this context, we welcome President Obama's call for an anti-corruption compact between the government of Afghanistan and the international community with time-bound benchmarks and well-defined mutual responsibilities. In this regard, we must also address the widespread grievance among the Afghan public concerning the wastage of reconstruction resources that are outside the government's sphere of influence. To make the Afghan government truly and meaningfully accountable, we call on donors to adopt measures towards aid effectiveness and avoid the use of parallel structures that undermine the development and legitimacy of national institutions. Despite the agreements in principle in several international fora, notably London in January 2006 and Paris in June of 2008, the issue of aid effectiveness has received mere lip service. Today, as we enter a new phase, a much stronger coordination of aid delivery with a focus on building Afghan institutions and increasing efficiency becomes absolutely necessary. I commend the role and work of the United Nations and the Secretary General's Special Envoy, Mr. Karzai, towards improving coordination and encourage our partners to support this process and his role. Ladies and gentlemen, another major challenge that will not go away easily is the problem of poppy cultivation and drug trade. After seeing several successive years of up spirals in poppy cultivation across the country, our counter-narcotics efforts have paid off as we saw a 20% reduction in 2008 and anticipate a further 20 to 30% reduction this year. In 2005, only 3 out of Afghanistan's 34 provinces were poppy-free. Today, as we speak, the number of provinces which are now free of poppy, completely or partially, is 22. Last year, over 600 drug dealers and drug lords were arrested, and 35% of them have already been convicted. These achievements have not come about without a cost. Hundreds of Afghan policemen have sacrificed their lives in eradication of crops, interdiction, and bringing criminals to justice. Today, poppy cultivation in Afghanistan is mainly concentrated in those districts that are either partially or completely outside the control of the Afghan government. So, our continued success in fighting poppy cultivation will depend on regaining control of these areas. To win the war on drugs, we also call for a new compact between Afghanistan and its international partners with a revised division of labor. My government is fully committed to implementing an Afghan-led and owned strategy of a counter-narcotics with a much stronger emphasis on effective alternative livelihood and development, and robust law enforcement. We call on our international partners to provide, through the Afghan budget, the necessary resources and to hold us accountable for achieving results. Ladies and gentlemen, 2009 will be a critical year for the Afghans as well as the international mission in Afghanistan. The challenges we face in this year will test our resolve and will shape the future in a significant way. Together, we will work hard to prepare for and hold the presidential and provincial assembly elections on the 20th of August this year. This election represents an important milestone in our journey towards consolidating democracy and stability in Afghanistan. Therefore, it is crucial to ensure that free, fair, credible, and secure elections are held across Afghanistan. The Afghan government will depend on support from the United Nations, NATO, and other members and other partners from the international community to fulfill this responsibility. I have no doubt that the enemies of peace and stability will do whatever they can to disrupt the Afghan election process. We together must use all the resources and capabilities at our disposal to protect the elections and provide a safe environment for the Afghan people to vote. We also invite the United Nations, NATO, the OSCE, the European Union, OIC, and other regional and international organizations to send monitors to observe the elections. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 7 years ago, we, the Afghan people, made certain commitments as part of our partnership with the international community. We promised that we Afghans would come together around a legitimate political process and help build a new democratic Afghan state. We promised to guarantee to our people, especially our women, the rights and freedoms that had been denied to them for decades. We promised to send our children to school despite vicious attacks by terrorists. We promised to demobilize our formerly armed groups and integrate them into legitimate national institutions. We promised to be an honest, steadfast partner with the international community in fighting against terrorism and to continue to make sacrifices in this regard. We promised to use whatever opportunities afforded to us to build up our public institutions. Today, as I stand before you in this distinguished gathering, I take pride that we kept our promises and delivered our commitments. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, we have had important setbacks and shortcomings too. None due to broken promises or lack of effort, but as far as the Afghan people are concerned, the process moved forward despite obstacles, and it will do so with certainty. Today, I renew that commitment once again and call on our friends in the international community to support us as we continue to build Afghanistan into a stable and confident society that is free from violence, drug and terror, and that is an asset for a peaceful region and the wider world. To our neighbors in the region, I reiterate the Afghan people's strong desire to live in peace, harmony, and prosperity with them. The future we are trying to build in Afghanistan is one that we will share in peace with Pakistan and Iran, our two large neighbors who have contributed to our refugees and to our reconstruction. I thank them. With our neighbors to the north and with China, India, and Russia. And it is a future that we cannot build without the goodwill and support of these neighbors. We in Afghanistan will spare no effort at promoting Madam Clinton, Secretary Clinton, our commitment to the strategic partnership between our countries. We are all encouraged by the renewed determination of the United States under President Barack Obama and hope that the United States will once again lead the effort to respond to the challenges we continue to face. I am also confident that President Obama's leadership will be met by a rejuvenated response from our other allies in Europe and elsewhere. And finally, to all our partners from around the world, the European Union, Japan, India, Canada, Australia, who have supported us through our arduous journey over the past 7 years, I say thank you, and I say we depend on your continued friendship. Prime Minister Balkenende, the people of Netherlands, thank you for hosting this conference and the hospitality we received today. May I also thank Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who is always on our side and by our side in Afghanistan for peace and stability. I thank you very, very much. This year, ladies and gentlemen, Afghanistan's partnership with the international community that started in 2001 will be entering its 8th year. And there is much by way of our collective achievement that we can be proud of. The new year is going to be tough and full of challenges, but already it looks brimming with opportunities too. We in Afghanistan are determined to grasp every opportunity with eagerness and vision and meet each challenge with courage and resolve. And we will count on continued partnership with our friends around this table. And thank you very much for the time given to me. Thank you.